I just finished watching actually Raw from last night with DX going to Little Court. This was being Christmas special. I must say, in a way, well, this it was no special show in that anyway. To an extent, it was this big matches. It wasn't any. Well, it wasn't just that big atmosphere of things in a way. But on the other hand, I gotta say, what a completely impressive, awe-inspiring crowd. What a crowd! What a crowd compared to the disastrous crowd last week. What an amazing crowd. They made half of the night being so special. As I said, this wasn't that big of a night. However, I actually enjoyed this show. And I think why? Well, simply because you didn't really know what was about to come later in the night. Normally they go ahead of themselves and they just promote the matches. They didn't do that tonight. They kind of let you sit around and wait. You didn't really know what the main event was going to be and how the show was going to close off. So that was one of the things why it was so enjoyable. Secondly, because they actually put a lot of effort into the show. They had this DX Little Court, they had the Santas backstage, there were a lot of backstage segments, Vince McMahon showed up. There were a lot of things going on. So a lot of humor, a lot of thought, and a lot of details put in, such as the mistletoe thing. They made fun of the mistletoe hanging backstage, and Jack Damon was his name, right? Happened to be under the mistletoe with Sergeant Slaughter, and Sergeant Slaughter wanted to give him a kiss. Then Dusty Rhodes was the Santa, and he happened to stand under the mistletoe and kind of insinuated that it was time for a kiss. And then also, well, you had Eve kissing Chris Masters in the ring with under the mistletoe, and you also had IRS, Irvin R. Shyster being the Santa, kind of making fun of the taxes, and the Miz being the champion made him fall into an own tax category. Jack Damon came up and said, you know, I always paid my taxes. And then he said, well, you baseball players, you're the worst of them all when it comes to paying taxes. So a lot of funny things like that, a lot of small details, as I said. And how about the Tiger Woods? And I don't know, or I know her name is Elin because she's from Sweden, same country as me. So this story has been pretty huge here with Tiger Woods and this entire golf swing where he drove into a tree or water post or whatever it was, and that his wife Elin is about to move out, the rumors say. I don't know really, but still, that was really funny how they made fun of it. I mean, you didn't see that coming. You just thought that, oh, this is going to be some phony crap when you saw this tiger coming, and then you saw that woman, that blonde woman with a golf club and then chasing him around, and then she came backstage later as well. So this was really fun, small things like that. Then we have the DX going to Little Court segments. Well, they were fun. At times I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, I think people are of course not going to be over-critical, and they're going to be so critic towards this and that because they simply expect too much from it, and because you're simply supposed to be critical towards DX and Hornswoggle on the internet. But as you could see from the crowd, it really worked. They laughed a lot, and the scenes in the courtroom was pretty funny. I mean, that's kind of how it goes in real life. When you don't want to insult someone, that's the only thing you do. I mean, they happened to call the people short, midgets, whatever they said, they ended up insulting these small people, and I think that goes to a parallel in real life, because we all been there, we all been in a kind of situation where we want to explain ourselves, and no matter what we say, we just make the situation worse. So that was really brilliant. That was a brilliant thing. Kind of funny how when they ran out from the courtroom and they came up from under the ring. I liked it. It worked. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm just sitting back in the sofa, just leaning back and whatever. Don't expect too much from it. So that was it. And well, the matches as well. So Jack Swagger had a really good effort against John Cena tonight. I mean, there's been speculations about WWE ceasing the push with Swagger because they simply given up in him. They never give up full, but this goes to prove I doubt they have given up, because Swagger had a really good match against Cena. He put up a lot of good offense, and he even went for the gut-wrench powerbomb once, I believe, or intended to do it, but it was blocked. And he countered one of Cena's moves, and well, it was really good. So, however, of course now, Swagger, who promised us all that he wouldn't lose, anymore. In 2009 he did that about 1 month back. That was of course broken, but actually that was broken last Thursday on Superstars because he lost to MVP there in a rematch from Superstars the weeks before. So Swagger has lost twice now, since saying he will not lose at least twice on TV, maybe more. We saw Carlito have a match with Chris Masters. Chris Masters, who is apparently, as I said last week, a face now. Carlito is kept a heel, and that's the way it should be. Chris Masters, of course, makes better for a heel as well, I believe. Interesting pairing with him and Eve Torres. I don't know where that will lead, but I guess that makes some girls on the internet happy for Eve. And you also had The Miz wrestling Santino Claus. I think it would be funny if he said Merry Christmas, but wouldn't it be much funnier if he said something like Merry Christmas or something? That would be more Santino, I think. The Miz, of course, won that match. And you started out with 2 6-man tags also as well. Kofi Kingston looking really good in this match, and Evan Bourne. Wow, this was a guy that were rumors about that he was so unhappy with his position in the WWE, and he might be. I don't know, but there were some rumors about him posting in some blog or something. I heavily doubt that was Evan Bourne's own words, because had it been that, he probably would have been fired by now. Instead, he put up a really good effort in the match tonight. He had it won after hitting his Shooting Star Press is the name of that move on Cody Rhodes, I believe, but Teddy DiBiase made the save, and later on Kofi Kingston was able to pick up the win for his team, also including Mark Henry, and they look kind of like Mark Henry got injured there when he tackled, I believe, I don't know, remember, he tackled someone and he fell out of the ring and it looked like he got hurt. I don't know about that. Also had a Santa's Little Helpers 6-man tag team match with Maurice and Melina having one team each facing each other. And then we finished off with Damon saying that someone on the Raw roster tonight would get his wish come true. And Big Show came out. He intended on getting his dream come true. And then we had another Santa for the night. I believe the 5th Santa of the night coming out. And I kind of suspected it might be Jericho. And all of a sudden it sounded like Jericho being the Santa Claus. But I couldn't give up the thought, because it sounded like, Chris Jericho, but didn't Chris Jericho very much sound like Stewie from Family Guy? The way he talked with his accent, kind of British accent. I think he did. So Big Show cried, more or less. No, not really, but he said he wanted Chris Jericho back on Raw, his best friend. And so it happened that Chris Jericho was the Santa Claus. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I believe what happened next is somewhat proving or somewhat indicating that we will have a continuation of the feud between DX and Jericho, and I believe that Jericho really deserves another shot after what happened last week on Raw, where they got intentionally disqualified D-Generation X after shoving the referee just as the match started, saying that was the only shot he ever got, and Chris Jericho was thrown out of the arena saying, "I want to stay, I want to stay." It was really well done. So I think this is going to be a continuation of that feud, and I think that's good, because they deserve, Jericho and Big Show really deserve a rematch, a proper rematch, and so does the tag team titles as well. They deserve to be pushed properly in real matches. Yeah, we also saw Sheamus wrestle tonight, before I go back to the main match. Sheamus wrestled tonight. He bet MVP kind of easily, and I think that's as it should be. I mean, MVP as well is closing in on 40. He doesn't have that much of a future anyways, and considering the push he got, he really got his chance, but he really blew it last year, acting as unprofessional as he did, kind of proving he really couldn't handle it. So I think WWE are very hesitant on giving him a push again. We will see what happens about that. He got a United States Championship title run earlier this year, so he should be happy for that, I believe. So, and also Hornswoggle became the mascot of D-Generation X, and I must say, people dislike Hornswoggle, but he is one hell of an actor. He's one hell of an actor, is the guy that plays Hornswoggle. Really good, and I actually laughed pretty hard when he gave Chris Jericho the switch in music to his knee. That looked pretty funny. Look that up. Listen to Chris Jericho talking, sounding like Stewie. And also check out my kill or keep segments. This week I'm talking about special guest hosts. Give me your thoughts. Should WWE kill or keep the special guest hosts? The video is available in my channel here. Last week it was the ECW brand. Should WWE kill or keep it? Next week, Cena versus Sheamus, the rematch. We'll see if Sheamus' run lasts or if it's a transitional one. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.